Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ciconia When They Cry. Today we will be playing Chapter 10. Last time, if you were tuned in, it was a pretty heavy chapter. So, as I mentioned last time, I will be putting any trigger warnings in the description if we get to anything that I think would be reasonably uncomfortable for a general audience. But anyways, today we will be getting into chapter 10, like I said. So let's get started. We definitely got into, some interesting lore as well, and learning more about, I guess the class divide, maybe you would call it, or just how different gauntlet knights have it, especially when they're even between Gunhild and Meow and Jaden. Yeah, I don't know. You probably watched the other one, so you know. But let's just keep going. Now then, let us hold a vote. Inside the room of the three kings were the three kings and a jestress. Along the walls of this triangular room were lines of shadowy figures in robes and masks. On the triangular table that the three kings surrounded was a small bag with gold embroidery and a small black bag. Jestress walked around the table, placing 2 coins in front of each of the kings. One of the coins was gold, the other silver. Imprinted on those coins was their crest, an inverted triangle and an all-seeing eye. The 3 kings each picked up a gold and a silver coin, grasping them in their right hands. Now then, everyone, the 3 kings will make their decision. Our highest calling is to guide humanity down the right path. When civilization sends out sprouts of evil, when those sprouts bear fruits of malice, we harvest the wicked branches and fruits and hand over a just civilization, which has been pruned and ordered, to a fitting successor. We have already finished preparing for the harvest festival. Tonight's decision is to determine whether the time has come yet or not. How short the A3W era was. A mere century. Unless we're quite thorough, the A4W era might be even shorter. Humanity should return to the era of sticks and stones. Then it can build up civilization again. Eventually, they'll stray off the path again, but even so, they should be able to find several millennia of peace. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. After that, the 2 bags were passed to each of the kings in turn. They took the 2 coins they held, putting 1 in each bag. Only they knew which coin they each had placed in which bag. After the bags were passed around, the bag with gold embroidery was handed to Jestress. Jestress, count the votes. Understood. I'll count them now. The gold embroidered bag was emptied on the table. Inside were 3 gold coins. It's a unanimous vote in favor. The 3 kings have decided to carry out the harvest festival. It seems there weren't any contrarians this time. Jestress giggled, then started clapping, and the men lining the walls started to clap too. Then the 3 kings rose to their feet, one resolutely, one in a leisurely manner, and one pompously, seemingly enjoying the feel of the moment. Gentlemen, let the harvest festival begin! The time has come to mercilessly reap the weeds that don't deserve to live, the rotten culture that doesn't deserve to remain. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. I expect the best from all of you. Now, go. The men along the walls all spun at once and left the room. They scattered to all the corners of the earth, to their own nests and webs that had already been set up. And then they made the very first move in a massive game. I pray that our long-held wish comes true, and that we will be able to set down this crown. We'll work hard to make this old man's wishes come true. Now then, if you will excuse me. Jestrus bowed respectfully and vanished. The kings also spun around and disappeared into the darkness. And we've got our clock. It's moving. Ha ha ha, surely this doesn't mean anything bad, guys, right? Oh, here's our quote. That day, that time is beginning. Have you really been awake? From Veer Drasik. Hello, girl. Fine, boom. Maybe not. Okay. Everyone had vaguely believed that this year would end like any other. True, the news had been making a fuss over how factions all over the world were staring each other down, and that the smallest thing might set them off. However, that was just something that came like the seasons. In the end, everything would be left unsettled and forgotten, and the unusual peace would continue on and on. That's what everyone believed, without any basis. Though it was cold, it was still a very gentle early winter. December 1st. In the 10th Central Glass Sea of Japan, they've finally clashed! Border Patrol guards of the COU Japanese military have shot down an AOU Japanese reconnaissance drone. We of the COU Japanese military have responded to the AOU Japanese military's aggressive actions involving an armed drone in an act of justified self-defense. To protect the safety of our border patrol teams, we have been forced to take defensive measures in the Glass Sea. We utterly condemned COU Japan's construction of military bases in the Glass Sea, a symbol of peace and a World War relic. It seems COU Japan has become constructing bases with a military printer. From AOU Japan's perspective, this crosses a red line, and all hope for a peaceful solution is starting to look optimistic at best. Tensions are also rising around the Kashmir Spirit Field. ABN Pakistan has once again refused to respond to the COU's repeated calls to cease mining operations. In order to protect their workers from COU provocation, they forcefully introduced anti-aircraft weaponry into the area. This act is a clear violation of the Kashmir Treaty, and the government of COU India has condemned it. We will respond decisively to this treaty violation. The COU is announcing that military options are not off the table in this matter. Furthermore, the ABN Joint Parliament expressed their sincere regret towards the ACR's taking of military action against refugee camps on the northern coast of ACR Algeria. However, the ACR Royal Press Secretary flatly rejected this view, saying that this was merely a peacekeeping operation and that the ABN is interfering with internal affairs. In the interest of harmony throughout humanity, we offer the ACR a love-filled warning. The ACR must immediately suspend their persecution of refugee camps. You must acknowledge the sinfulness of your continued assault on world peace, and AOU America's Atlantic Fleet has finally begun to move. In a recent announcement, they said that they've given the order to push towards the Atlantis Spirit Field, which is still being occupied by the ACR. If the ACR Navy doesn't withdraw from that region, they say they will not hesitate to launch a preemptive strike. In practical terms, it seems safe to call this an ultimatum. The ACR royal family and the ACR governments should come calmly to the negotiation table. We intend to bring both the pen and the sword when discussing their illegal occupation of the Atlantis Spirit Fields. It's as though we can hear the footsteps of World War IV approaching. Will the curtain close on the A3W world? Was it really just the B4W world after all? The whole world is running wild at once, almost as though they planned it out beforehand. No one had called a meeting at the public bath. However, after hearing one bit of disturbing news after another from all around the planet, they had started gathering on their own, until there were more of them than there ever had been since the end of the Battle Standard Festival. Mari Carney. I get that the world's starting to turn wild, but as Gauntlet Knights from all the factions, we've got to make sure we avoid careless actions or statements, understand? Until a second ago, this chat room had been a sort of battle royale. Once the big sisters from Lato arrived and warned everyone, they were finally able to cool their heads. True, because of their respective factions and positions, it was understandable that they each had things they wanted to say. But even so, the ferocity of the feuds that had been breaking out simultaneously across the world these past few weeks was abnormal. I suggest you remove those ferocious arguments you were just having from your logs. You may be titans who bear the military might of the next generation, but you really are still kids. Hey, kid. Apologize. I'm so sorry. That's exactly right. Omatake, you try and show some restraint too. I beg your forgiveness. Still, after talking about this together for a while, you can tell, right? None of our countries want war. That's right. Wow. No one wants war. Everyone, please don't say sad things and stop fighting. Wow. If that's so, how did the world end up like this? If no one wants war, why are so many people around the world doing things that make war likely? The world and truth are far from simple. At any rate, we all should work hard to stay calm and avoid rash acts. That's all I have to say. And make sure you give your friends a really serious warning about this too, okay? After all, until the world calms down, it's our job to continue holding up the walls of peace. After saying that with brisk, schoolteacher-like tones, the Lato Big Sisters left the virtual room. It's just as they say. We aren't politicians. Us arguing is a waste of time. It's foolish. You're right. Still, it's easy to get emotional when it's about your country and your faction. When you're listening to two factions that aren't yours arguing, it really does sound like a silly feud. And yet, some people are starting wars. It's so sad. Wow. Oh, it's been a while since we've seen her. Oh, I don't remember what voice I gave her to that end, but what's so fun about starting wars? I don't get that at all. Well, it's possible some people would be happy about this kind of situation, right? What kind of person could possibly be happy about this? Probably people who stand to make lots of money from situations like this. Conflict breaking out across the world has thrown the stock market into chaos. Stock and defense contractor companies is skyrocketing. I see. So people who invested in those come out ahead. What a clever analysis, Mariana. I'll pet you as a reward. Hey, don't run away! Are you saying there are people stirring up wars for the sake of money? Wow, that's never happened before. The other day, the IPMA hinted that they would step in, but in the end, they dodged the issue by announcing a policy of non-intervention. By doing that, the stocks of companies that had risen rapidly temporarily fell rapidly. Then the IPMA suddenly reverses their position, and those stocks are back up to their highest values. What a truly tantalizing development. I wish I could go back to the past, knowing what we know now, Meow. I'm surprised to hear that from the money-wasting champion, who doesn't even have enough money to buy stocks. But what if someone knew these things were going to happen before they did? If someone knew the timing of dramatic changes in stock prices beforehand, they would be able to buy at the ideal time, when it was cheapest, sell it all when it was at its most valuable, and rake in a huge chunk of wealth in just a few weeks. Damn it, they must be laughing all the way to the bank right now. This world is set up so that only those playing poker with the world as their cards can rake it in. I wonder if one of those players would consider marrying me. My, how deplorable, searching for a marriage without love. Love is everything. The existence of people who respect money more than love is what makes this world twisted and covered in darkness. Those who deny that fact will receive Yellow-Shavit's depleted uranium bullets of heavenly judgment. Love and peace. Love and peace. You guys watch Trigun? You guys play 100 Line? Haha, sorry. It'd be awesome if we could fight alongside each other for worldwide love instead of fighting against each other under the orders of those old assholes. That's right. If only we could all join hands and take out the evil people trying to start world wars for money. Yes, that would be wonderful. Imagine gauntlet knights around the planet joining hands, standing off against a mysterious secret organization planning to overthrow the world order. But that's no good, Rookie. You aren't a kid anymore, so you shouldn't daydream about comic book things like that. Oh. You know, that might actually be more than something out of a comic book. She hurt me. What do you mean? I'm just saying that there might actually be a secret organization treating the world as its plaything and trying to line its own pockets. Princess, that's enough playing around. It's almost time for the next event on your schedule. I see. In that case, we shall take our leave. Cairo Squad, make sure you aren't late either. Yes, ma'am. Now then, everyone, it's time for us to leave as well. I love ceremonies. You get paid just for sitting down. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye! When everyone from the ACR left, the others all apparently remembered things they had to take care of. One after another, they left the room, and the meeting was effectively over. However, Retabil's words remained in Meow's ears. There might actually be a secret organization treating the world as its plaything and trying to line its own pockets. You've left. It's a wrap. Public bath, Poyo. Yeah, I kinda expected this. That is a comic book. Seriously, stuff like that only happens in comic books. You say you'll join hands and face off against a mysterious secret organization? That's all wrong. You're the ones who are going to be killing each other. It's already been decided. That's right. This isn't a prediction. It's a prophecy. Okay, bye. Maybe that sort of thing doesn't just happen in comic books after all. Okay. Goofy music time? Wait, this laid-back music is... When I shifted my attention to my mental display... Yep, it was him all right. You've received an email from the old bastard, Poyo. I get it. That's enough of Dad's ringtone, okay? What's this? I'm in the area, so would you like to grab a bite to eat, he says? Oh, people love sending emails. Well, he did say that virtual rooms wear him out. Nothing you can do about people from the last generation. His father had apparently been busy lately, so they hadn't met IRL hardly at all. However, recently, he had suddenly started to feel grateful for the fact that his father had raised him. Or maybe he just felt apologetic for the one-sided hatred he'd shown his father during puberty. Anyway, they had started exchanging emails. I never even know which part of the world Dad's in. If I can go see him, I probably should. The world was starting to smell of gunpowder. Even gauntlet knights were soldiers. Though they were often treated like esport contestants, they could be sent into combat at any time. Is that his dad? No way. That's crazy. That's crazy. That got me. I had no inkling of a guess. I was like, oh, we're gonna meet his dad. Hello, guys. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. And the fact that this goofy music goes with him, I'm freaking out. Okay, whatever. Hey, you're looking well. If I wasn't feeling well, I wouldn't have come. I guess so. Have a seat. I don't have much time either. You make it sound like I owe you one. Are you saying you're graciously using your precious time to come see me? What exactly do you think a parent expects to be owed when coming to see his own son's face? This old bastard's my dad, Mitake Tojiro. He's a father, something extremely rare in AOU countries, where the Ciconia no longer bring us babies. He's apparently a big-shot military reporter working for the AOU Combined Military HQ. From what I've heard, he got temporarily transferred to the ITMA or something, flying all over the world for his work. We grew distant after I entered my rebellious phase. Then, well, I started to feel a bit grateful to him for raising me. We did exchange emails now and then, but this was the first time we'd met in person in a long time. You did good at the Battle Standard Festival. I didn't do anything but embarrass myself. Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't say that as an insult. Those ignorant commentators had no idea how amazing your movements were right before you got shot down. It doesn't matter how amazing you are if you get taken out. Oh, I thought that sentence was gonna continue, whatever. But that COU ace, Lingji, was it? I think that kid was just about to gray out. She won because it was a competition, but in an actual battle, she would have lost consciousness and crashed after that. If it weren't for that fluke, you would have at least taken each other out. You were in the lead then. You don't need to console me. Lingji is an amazing gauntlet knight. That's all there is to it. No, you were more impressive by far. I'm sure lots of clueless people have said things to you, and it's getting you down. Poor kid. Knowing you, I figured you would have lost some of your confidence. So today, for your sake, I've researched how excellent your movements during the Battle Standard Festival were, as well as what you could have done to win with certainty. It's interesting how this is kind of like how Meow and Meow give feedback to the other Gauntlet Knights. There's so much interesting... So much is interesting right now. I don't even know how to process this. First off, take a look at this data. You've received 32 data items from Tojiro, Poyo. Imagine he accidentally sends over like his secret government stolen files. I hope that happens. I told you I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'll start by describing the attack on the fictional base. This part has splendid movement that even an amateur can easily understand. In particular, this spiral around Marker A is astonishingly beautiful. And 7 seconds later. Dad is such a pain. He's always picking through the details of other people's records and scores. Look in the mirror, Meow. And kids are supposed to be like their parents on a genetic level? Don't give me that. I'll never become an adult this annoying. Oh, Meow. Okay. For a while, we enjoyed a casual conversation between a parent and child. It might have been 10 whole years since we've had alone time like this, like something you'd see in a classic drama. When I was really young, I wished I'd been raised in an incubator too. People can't choose how they're born or who their parents are. In this world, where being Ciconia born is rare, maybe it's best to view the rare experience of having a father as a positive. With some laughter mixed in, we renewed the bonds of parent and child that had been cut off during my rebellious phase. I wonder... I'm still wondering about how all of this, like, is truly working. Because, like, you know, obviously we had characters talk about having siblings, but again, I'm like, I don't know if that just means they are, like, genetically siblings, but they're, like, made in the baby factories or whatever. It's starting to sound like that might be more likely if people don't usually have, like, parents in this world, but I don't know. I don't know. Have you seen the news recently? It's getting pretty hectic, isn't it? Are there bunches of people who really can't wait to start wars or something? There are. That's what you Guardians of Peace are for, right? If my missions are to beat up people like that, I'll take as many as I can. How reassuring. Good luck, kid. Good luck to you too, adults. Don't push this all on the kids. Meow. Listen carefully. I am listening. Turn off your cell comm. Listen to me with your ears and your heart. What are you talking about? Just turn it off. Are you sure you want to shut down your cell comm, Poyo? Thank you for your patronage, Poyo. We hope you use us again, Poyo. It's off. When the previous generation wanted to scold you, for example, they would often tell you to turn your cell comm off. While your cell comm was on, they apparently felt as though you were distracted and not really listening. This feels unpleasant, like I'm about to be lectured. See? Dad's looking strangely serious and motioning for me to bring my face closer. What is it? Listen closely. I'm sure you and the others think this news is just people fanning the flames, and that nothing serious will come of it. But this time is different. It really will begin. A military conflict? I mean that everything up until yesterday will be called the B4W era. Whoa, hold on. You've gotta be... Listen closely, Meow. Gauntlet Knights are closer to being a complete military technology than you and the others think. You'll probably be sent into actual combat right away. Dad, who flies all over the world for work reasons, sometimes says extraordinary things. However, sooner or later, those predictions always came true. I'm prepared for that. I'm not just a sim gamer. It's not just you. The whole world will be drawn into a terrifying conflict. You'll probably be drawn into a strange fight where you don't know who your enemies are, nor whom you should fight. Nor whom you should fight or whom you should fight for. This is no joke. Your predictions are usually right. They're not predictions in the sense of words that anticipate the future. Are they prophecies? What I give you are prophecies, words that have been left in someone's care. Yup. Hello. A prophecy. This is neither a warning nor a prediction. It means that a future fate has been told to me with words that came from God. In other words, we aren't talking about possibilities. It's a verdict that will come to pass with certainty. Certainty! That's right, certainty. I've known that this day would come for a long time. All I didn't know was that it would finally start today. The ultimate tool for resisting evil fates and making the fate of your choosing come true is the gauntlet. At least, humanity as it is now has never before produced a greater method for an individual to wield power. So, the reason you made me become a Gauntlet Knight was... If nothing happened during your generation, then it would have been fine. But, almost as though it was waiting for Gauntlet Knights to be completed, the day has come. Stop saying creepy things all of a sudden. It's almost like you're putting the fate of the world on my shoulders. Seriously? What is your enemy? What is evil? Whom should you fight, and whom should you fight alongside? Think. Always think. Never give up on thinking, no matter how incomprehensible it all seems. It sounds like you're telling me to protect the world all on my own. That's right. You're the strongest Gauntlet Knight in the world. That's what I raised you to be. Do you know why? No. Because the main characters of all eras are the young. The fate of the world isn't up to the generation of old bastards like me. You young people need to decide and grasp it for yourselves. I gave you the power to do this. To do so, I spared no effort since the time of your birth. Well, I am grateful for that, but... True. As far back as I can remember, Dad has given me a gifted education for becoming a Gauntlet Knight. It was like getting an advance payment, not only of money and effort, but of the next era itself. Pardon me. Oh, I was saying that too, because I cleared my throat. That's crazy. Pardon me. Would you prefer some after-dinner coffee or black tea? I'll have some coffee. How about you, Meow? This ruthlessly sudden conversation had made Meow's mind blank out for a while. Then I'll have some tea. Sorry, but could we have the check? Huh? Certainly, sir. Please wait a moment. What was that all of a sudden? I told you. I don't have much time. And anyway, you're going to get a call any time now. Turn on your cell comm. I don't get it. But Dad was right. There was a military emergency alarm ringing in my head. It meant to respond to an emergency summons and stand by. It was a sign that something really ominous was happening, so you should go home and pick up your diapers so that you didn't wet yourself. It also came with a helpful message saying that this wasn't a drill. See you later, then. Dad, is it really going to start? Prophecies are never wrong. Does that mean you know what's going to happen after this? Yes, I know. This guy stinks. Then stop showing off and tell me. War's coming, right? Doesn't that mean a lot of people are going to die? That's right. Many will die. Oh my god, okay. At worst, fewer will remain than during the aftermath of World War III. Something like that has to be stopped at all costs. The young are the main characters, right? We have to do something about this, right? You gave me the power to do that. The power to control a gauntlet. So we can definitely stop this. You mean prevent World War IV before it starts? I have friends all over the world, and none of them want war. So there must be people behind the scenes who stand to gain from starting wars. You must know about it, Dad. That people like that exist. As far as people who would celebrate the outbreak of war, well, I can think of a few. Tell me! I want to crush them! Calm down, son. Even if I told you, what would you do? Are you a police chief? Do you have connections with a counterintelligence organization? You've been given an emergency summons and a standby order, right? If you do whatever you want, you'll be in violation of military law. Gauntlet Knights are stronger than anything, right? Are you saying we still can't do anything? There are things you can do, but this isn't the time yet. When will it be time? Are you saying I should just watch the world plummet into war until the time comes? Before long, when the time does come, you'll know. I've always hated the way you dodge questions and try to confuse me like that. Fine, if you won't tell me, I won't ask. The main characters in every era are the young, right? In that case, we main characters will think for ourselves, decide what the best course of action is, and save the world. We'll stop World War IV. That's our job as Guardians of Peace. Soon, I'll be able to tell you everything. But the time hasn't come yet, right? I hope it never does. Dad signed the check brought to him by the waiter and rose to his feet. I'm glad we got to meet. I may be your dad, but I'm still a soldier. This might be the last time we ever say goodbye. Don't die. I won't let you die. We will definitely stop war from breaking out. I have high hopes for you, Meow. If you can manage that, you really will be the main characters. With that last strange sentence that was probably supposed to sound cool, Dad left without leaving any trace he had ever been there. This is crazy. I wonder, maybe it's not the time to wonder about this, but I kind of wonder if they haven't seen each other in like 10 years, then I don't know, but I'm wondering if like Tojiro, the extent to which Tojiro knows about Meow as well. And I mean, obviously Tojiro is like super suspicious in everything he does. We know this now, but I don't know. This is a crazy development, I must say again. Okay. You received an email from Meow, Poyo. Princess, what's the matter? I got an email from Meow. What on earth could it be at a time like this? What on earth did he write? That's just like him. Are you two going to read it too? Well, if it's something he's likely to say, I can probably guess what it is already. What do you think? That's so like him. But maybe this is exactly how we should be. Meow's so cute. I just want to support him. None of us want war. We're the guardians of peace. I see. Military might is the power of destruction and death. However, depending on the will of those who wield it, it can become many other things. In other words, well, what should we do? We aren't dogs of war. We're guardians of peace. We're soldiers. We obey orders. But within those orders, we can become either dogs or guardians. That's Nor for you. In other words, we mustn't fight out of hatred. Let's stop World War IV, huh? He's quite the hot-headed man, is he not? Will we really be able to stop a war by fighting? The conflicts sprouting up all over the place are being led by each faction's warhawks. If we take the wind out of their sails neatly and rapidly, it might change what happens next. Kiddo, Meow just said something crazy, Meow. Still, I agree with him. After all, we Gauntlet Knights have such great power, right? I like it too. Whatever those old assholes are trying to do on their own, whether it's a war or anything else, we'll crush it ourselves so that it doesn't all go as they please. The world is finally measuring its military strength by the number of gauntlet knights each side possesses. That's a sign of how much power we have. Yeah, if we all join forces and go all out, we can crush this world war. None of us want war. If people try and start one up anyway, we'll stand against them. We'll resist them. We aren't pieces on anyone's game board. Ever since the Battle Standard Festival, Meow has had influence over the primary Gauntlet Knights from all factions. I'm assuming this is Tojiro. Many seem to approve of the email he just sent, and even some within my ket. Oh, I don't know who this is. Who did we not hear from? Was there anyone? I'm kind of curious. We saw all of them. Unless that's not what this is. I don't know. I'm assuming it's just one of like the moles, because we know that each of the factions have one or whatever. So I don't know who this is, but many seem to approve of the email he just sent, and even some within my ket have expressed that opinion. If matters continue down this path, we of the 9th Prime Chivalric Order may be restricted in our movements. Okay, what was that again? Is it... Oh, I forgot to look at these. Can I not read? Maybe. Is that what it is? What? 9th Prime Chivalric Order. Is this not something we have in here, maybe? I don't know, I just kind of assumed because they gave like a name, you know. But I'm skimming it, and I remember hearing it somewhere, but it seems like maybe not. Okay, well, I apologize if I should know what that is. I forgore, but please forgive me. If matters continue down this path, we of the 9th Prime Chivalric Order may be restricted in our movements. I leave the decision to you, Lady Jestress. All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path. Okay.
Tojiro has entered the room, Poyo.
Oh, brother. Sorry to keep you waiting. It's been a long time since I've been able to go back home to Tokyo. Cities around the world all resemble each other, but the air and humidity and such of one's hometown really do feel different somehow. Jestress. Yeah, I kind of figured he was in with this crowd. And you got to meet your son for the first time in a while, right? Hey, stop showing off the fact that you're monitoring me. That's rude. If it comes to that, I know you had a can of assorted biscuits for breakfast today. But they're so convenient. They come with a bunch of different varieties, and you can put things in the can when it's empty. More importantly, how did it go? No problem at all. It'll be on the news soon. People who can't be moved with money or connections really are a pain, aren't they? People like that are why we're able to play at being James Bond in this era.
A news report just came in, Poyo. Defense Minister Yunoki of the AOU Japanese government has been rushed to the hospital, Poyo. His condition is unknown. Everything about this is unknown, kiddo. The Prime Minister's office is apparently scrambling to appoint his successor, Poyo. Minister Yunoki is the leader of a moderate party currently in power, so his retirement will likely remove the brakes keeping AOU Japan's warhawks at bay. Is what they're saying, Poyo.
He got sent to the hospital. That's so sad. In just a few days, the former minister's secretary is scheduled to leak information about some shady political contributions. It will then become clear that some of those were indirect contributions from COU Japan, and everything will be thrown into chaos. Now, no one will be able to stop World War IV. I just hope this is the last major war.
Still, you really are a bad dad, aren't you? Even though your son is spurring on his friends to fight and stop World War IV, his own father is working in the shadows to make World War IV happen.
There's no helping it. The meaning of justice is something you've got to decide on your own. I can say do this all I like, but I don't expect an obedient response.
You're talking about Meow, right?
No one ever does what they're told, unless it's the voice of their heart telling them. I guess money is the only exception.
I've just sent yours over. What exactly are you still saving all this money up for? Even though the world's about to be destroyed.
What will I do and where will I do it when the world is destroyed? It's worth earning this much just to be able to decide that for myself. Doesn't it sound wonderful to end your life with the best babe in the world, clinking your glasses together as you watch the last twilight humanity will ever see?
You may have a point there. I'll probably still be caring for those 3 old fogies when twilight comes to the world.
I'm praying that the 3 kings' plans proceed well.
They're terrifying people. If they wished, they could bring about massive wars over and over again, until humanity is culled down to the numbers they desire. Still, unless I cling to their madness, my wish will never come true.
Make sure you become a good woman, too. If you do, then once this madness is over, you might have a future where you're sipping wine and gazing at the twilight with me. Crazy, by the way, that these two are interacting. I shan't say more, but, just something interesting to me. Ha 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 ha.
Are you seriously hitting on me? Still, all I can say is that I appreciate the sentiment. I'm more than satisfied with going down along with my opponent. As long as humanity has at least 1 man and 1 woman surviving at the end, this will be a victory for all humanity.
I'd like to increase that number by a few. That's my wish. Well then, I'll be heading out now.
Then so will I.
All is in the name of guiding humanity down the right path.
That's the king's job, not mine. From the time this body was born to the time its last cell is destroyed, I'll live for the sole purpose of erasing that nightmare.
Well, it seems humanity will be having quite a nightmare itself, also that you can erase yours.
If my greatest wish is granted, humanity will be grateful to me, and they'll realize that my victory is humanity's victory. However, there's no telling how many people humanity will have left by then.
Don't worry. When that time comes, at least I'll be there.
Stop hitting on me. Doesn't that count as cheating?
Okay, interesting. And that's the end of the chapter. Wasn't that something, you guys? Wasn't that something? Oh my gosh. Yeah, as you saw, my favorite part of today was finding out that Tojiro is Meow's freaking dad. I don't he's definitely an interesting character. I keep like kind of flip-flopping on him. I mean, I obviously he might be in with a bad crowd, guys. But I don't know, maybe he talked to Meow in order to get him to do what he was already like, planning on having him do, or maybe he was actually just a little bit genuinely concerned for his son. I can't say, but I'll be looking forward to finding out. So I guess I'll see you next time for chapter 11. Thank you very much for watching. And goodbye.